Hello, hello everyone. Happy Memorial Day. Hoping everybody can hear me in the chat. Thank you all for being here tonight. I know it's a holiday weekend, and this is not a day to be stuck in front of your computer watching a show, but I really appreciate that you're here. And first, just want to say a couple things right at the start of the show. Of course, thank you so much to all of the veterans and military families and all of those who have served so that I can even have a show like this and that we can pretty much do what we want on a holiday weekend. Our freedom was not free, and that should be remembered every day of the year, but glad we do have some special days to honor those that have fought for our freedom. So thank you to all of our military and military families out there. You sacrifice so much for all of us. I also wanted to send out thoughts and prayers to those in Oklahoma who just went through the recent tornadoes. It gets so easy to forget that these things are happening to people that are, thousands of miles away. But if you guys would keep them in your thoughts and prayers, donate where you can. I'm sure it would be much appreciated because there's a lot of people having to rebuild their lives right now. I can't even imagine. So with that, we do record all of these shows. Not only is it up on Spreecast right after we finish, but if you wanted to just go and review certain segments of the show, we now put those all over on YouTube, and there's 4 different segments to the show. So if there's just one particular part you wanted to go back and replay, you just go over to youtube.com/user/the Danni app. It's all there. Also, if you just want to listen to the audio version of the show, we do upload those to iTunes. So you can find those on iTunes. And what else am I forgetting? A big thank you to April, who is my producer who handles your questions in the chat. She sends links and helps me not miss any of those questions coming through. So if I do happen to miss your question, please don't hesitate to email me through the website. I have a contact form on askthedanniapp.com where you can send in those questions just for the show. All right, so I have been being asked to talk about Plush. So I thought, hey, I figure what better topic than that for this kind of relaxing day. So I have a desk that is just piled with plush right now because there's lots of good plush that sells and sells for really good profits. And the really cool thing is it's so easy to ship. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to do that in 2 segments today. So I'm going to talk about some general rules of thumb for plush in this first segment, and then further on in the show I'm actually going to show you examples of plush that I've purchased and what those will sell for. So first, let's kind of cover some of the basics about buying plush. So first of all, let me ask in the chat room, how many of you sell plush and source for plush? Tamara says she just got about 10 large plush for 25 cents each. Marvin Martian, Tweety Bird, Big Bird, awesome. So a lot of you go for the plush. So seeing that, you guys know it's fairly competitive. So not just any old plush is going to sell. You're going to have to look for a few things. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is, everybody know what a tush tag is? That's actually the term that's well known in the industry. Tushy tag. Tush tag. The tush tag, we'll use little Jeffrey here. The tush tag is the tag that most plush will have, and of course they usually put it on the bottom. So that's going to tell you who done it. the country of origin, and many times it's going to give you the date as well. Now, the other clue that the tush tag can give you is how old the item is. If the tag is yellowed, has a look that only comes from age, that helps. Sometimes the material they're made of, like if they're an old cloth tush tag, that can tell you that it's got some vintage to it. And the country itself, for instance, looking for something made in Hong Kong, we know those are vintage. So just some clues that your tushy tag can give you. Also, when you are listing it and taking your pictures, take a picture of that tush tag. Even if it doesn't seem like there's anything special about it, collectors want to see that if it's something that someone's buying as a collector piece. And normally the bigger priced plush is going to a collector. It's not going to a kid to play with, usually. Not all made in China should be disregarded, because Eileen asked about not made in China. Remember, made in China, that started becoming popular, oh, somebody help me here, 80s, I want to say. Right? And even, yeah, exactly, some current Disney is still made in China. So made in China is not a deal breaker. It's just one of the clues is what you can look for on the tushy tag. So got to put all the clues together like, you know, Sherlock Holmes. So there are some brands that are standouts over others, of course. Everybody knows that Steiff is a very good brand. The old German Steiff, that's kind of a no-brainer. We know to look for those. Now, some other brands would be like Dakin, Gund, what's the other ones? Help me out here, guys. And again, it's not all of those in that brand. This is just one of the key points to put together. Thank you, Russ. Russ makes some good. Dandy, thank you. That's another good one. Exactly. So there's some really good brands that generally mean higher quality. Now, it doesn't mean everything of that brand will sell. Exactly, Gans. Folkmanis. Yep. Okay, so there's some good ones. Thank you guys for sharing those. So again, your brand is only another piece of the puzzle as to whether it's going to be a hot seller. Now Disney, let's talk about Disney for a minute. Everybody knows Disney stuff is just hot, hot, hot. Disney sells. And I'll tell you one of the reasons, and this is why it sells because there's more than one reason. One of the reasons is, anybody ever been to Disneyland and actually bought something retail from the park? Hands up. You know how much that costs. Now, let's not even forget the fact that you've paid hundreds of dollars to take your family there in the first place. So you've got this very special Disney trip and you've gone and you've bought this special Mickey Mouse stuffed animal for your little one. And you get back on the plane to go home from your vacation, and guess what? Mickey doesn't make it. So what do you think a parent's going to do? They are going to go searching for that stuffed Mickey that their little one is screaming for. And at that point, price doesn't really become that big of an issue as much as getting that animal back in front of them. So that is one reason that Disney just sells. People are always replacing not only current purchases or recent vacation purchases, but they're also looking for those sentimental memories. And that can go for recent trips and past trips. So maybe they went to Disneyland and they didn't buy that character they wanted and they went and looked for it on eBay instead later because they just couldn't get it out of their head. So it's a very emotional thing. Then, of course, you have the collectors. You have collectors of specific Disney characters. There's Mickey Mouse collectors, Donald Duck collectors, Pluto, Goofy, every character you can imagine, as well as just Disney in general. I actually have some really, really special Disney plush pieces in my Disney collection. because I grew up on Disney. It's special to me, but I'm looking for those really out of the ordinary pieces. I have two prototypes that were actually created to be produced. They were counter display prototypes that never got put into production. So they're one-of-a-kind pieces. So there are those kind of things out there too. So keep an eye on that. So Disney. All right. So more important even than the brand, and those of you who know me and know through my webinars and stuff, this is key for just about anything that I sell, is what? Anybody? What's the first thing that makes something say, pull me off the shelf? There you go. I appeal. I appeal, I appeal, I appeal. So it's got to be something that somebody is going to actually be looking for or interested in. So as we get into the show later, I've got some really good examples of that, but you're looking for specific characters. You're looking for realistic looking animals. You're looking for things that people would specifically be hunting down, things from their past. Also, advertising brands. I mean, there's a whole line of Starbucks bears and critters, and other companies have made similar things, Hard Rock Cafe bears. So there's product lines that have a whole variety of collectors that go with them too. So really look at the subject matter of the plush. That's another thing. Oh, and size. Size does matter. There are some plush, if they are big, it doesn't even matter what the brand is. They'll still sell for sometimes hundreds of dollars. Yeah. Yep, size matters. Shipping. Who doesn't love shipping plush? I am such a big fan of plush because all I have to do is throw it into a white poly envelope and slap a priority mail sticker on it if it's over 13 ounces. Now, if it's under 13 ounces, still stick it in that polyvinyl envelope and send it on its way. I do use a little bit of bubble wrap if there's something like plastic eyes or some sort of a piece that I kind of want to stay contained. If it's got, like a long tail or arms that kind of splay out, you can use the bubble wrap as a way to kind of fold it up, keep it in its place, wrap it up tight, make it a little smaller. I also take the the poly envelopes, and after I put the animal in, I will fold it as small as possible and tape those edges so no edges get caught up in anything. So tape those real good. But really, it is like the easiest thing in the world to ship is plush. Don't have to worry about it getting broken. Now, pieces over whatever price range is out of your comfort zone for just refunding, definitely get insurance in case it goes missing or it does get damaged along the way. So for me, that's usually about 50 bucks because it's really the likelihood of it happening really, really slim. So with that, anybody got any questions about plush other than some examples? Because I'm going to show examples later. But I think I covered most of that for now. Oh, and in case you guys didn't know where to get those poly envelopes, love this segue here. Our sponsor for this segment was bubblefast.com, where you can get all of your shipping supplies, not just the poly envelopes. They even have a special package, variety package of poly envelopes called the Danni Pack. Mark and I got together and came up with the best sizes for shipping things like shirts, ties, and plush. So you can get that, and be sure and use your code Danni, D-A-N-N-I, and you'll get an extra discount. Yep.
Who let them cows out? Moo, moo.